and welcome to the Sky Spirit channel, wherever you are and whenever you're watching this. I'm recording this on Friday the 13th, so if it's Friday the 13th when you're watching this, happy Friday the 13th. It's a brilliant day. It's supposed to be unlucky, but it is what you make it as far as I'm concerned. So today we're going to have a quick skirt around the astrology of the next couple of days. We're going to do a collective reading, which might be directed, pinpointed at you, or it could be more overarching. We'll talk about that when we get there. And then we're going to do a larger pick a number between 1 and 12 reading. We're also going to have a look at Friday the 13th and a little bit of history of that today, and finish with an Astral Angels Oracle card. So we've got a lot to get through over the next hour, so stick around. If you are subscribed, then you can ask questions in the chat. If you like, put QQQ in front of them so I can hopefully see them. My eyes aren't that good. I always forget my glasses, but the thing is, the computer's that sort of distance away where it's not close and it's not far, if you see what I mean. So, and I've got 2 pairs of glasses, and so neither of them would work. So I'm just gonna have to be challenged visually, shall we say. So, right, so without further ado, let's have a look at the astrology. So today we have got we've got the sun in Gemini squaring up with the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo. So it's one of those days where you're going to feel like it's a bit of a crossroads, and it's a day where you're asked to look at yourself in the mirror and honestly give yourself an appraisal and think, what is it that I like about myself, and what is it that I need to improve, and then make some honest steps forward if you need to. So today is one of those days where you might be prone to that self-reflection, and it's probably a good thing. It's always a good thing if it's done in a positive, constructive way, isn't it? But don't go down the beating yourself up route about anything, because you know the past is the past and we move on and we change, don't we? Good morning, Mr. Steve. Good morning, KLG and Lynn. I think Gav's here as well, so good morning to Gav as well. Hope you're all doing well this morning. Thank you for joining me as always. So that was today's astrology. So it's a little bit of a look at yourself in the mirror and self-reflection type of thing. But tomorrow is a completely different kettle of fish. Tomorrow the moon is entering slightly offbeat Aquarius, and that's sextiling Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries. You've got 2 planets in Aries, which can be fiery and independent, and with Aquarius also being rather an independent, somebody who walks off the beaten path. Tomorrow is what I would call a flying solo day. Tomorrow is where you're going to feel like it's my way or the highway. Do your own thing. You know best, and that is a good thing tomorrow. And it's like your way is really highlighted tomorrow as being the way forward for you. So it's a day of independence. It's a day of flying solo. So tomorrow, if somebody tries to persuade you that their way is better than your way, then don't listen to them. Go your own way tomorrow. Fly solo. Right, let's go now. What should we do next? We'll do the 3-card collective reading. So this reading could be directly for you, and I say this most mornings, don't I? But I always think if spirit wants to get a message to you, then this is the ideal way for them to do it. Or it could be overarching. Think of this as a sort of overarching way that you read a horoscope. Okay, so 3-card collective reading. I shall do it over here so you can see the cards. Let's have a look. What do we have? Temperance, the Star, and the Tower. Wow, look at that. 3 major arcana cards. Now think about this. You've only got 22 major arcana cards in a deck of 78 cards. So what are the odds of getting 3 the same? If anybody in the chat knows how to do that maths thing that evades me entirely, then what are the odds of that? 3 major, there's 22 trumps, there's 22 major arcana cards in a 78 card deck, and we've got 3 of them on the table here. If I want to get more technical as well, we've got 3 later cards there. So we've got Temperance, which is 14. We've got the Star, which is 17. And then we've got the Tower, which is 16. So do you know what? Now that I've noticed that, I sort of want to put them in that order. So we've got 14, 16, 17. Yeah. So looking at an interpretation of these cards, for a start, because these are major and because there's 3 majors there, if this is your reading, if you're resonating with this, or if this means something to you, it's something big, it's something impactful, it's something that could be underway at the moment as we speak, or it could be just about to start, but whatever it is, it's life changing. Okay. And we've got Temperance coming out, which basically, Temperance is an angel, and I think in this particular triptych of cards, is triptych a word for cards? I know we use it in art, like if you do a piece that's made of 3 panels, it's a triptych. I don't know if we can call tarot a triptych. We can, I shall. So in this triptych of cards, I would judge Temperance as saying you're being told that you're being protected here, but you're being asked to exercise caution and not to get carried away with things, because it feels like there's a life-changing event on the horizon, and it feels like that's going to, moving on to the Tower here, it's going to be quite disruptive. It's going to be something that nothing's ever the same after. Now, it doesn't have to be necessarily negative. People always look at the Tower and think it's all doom and destruction. It isn't, though, because if you think about, let's say, the bushfires in Australia, in parts of Australia, for the tree that burns, it might be a tragedy, but for the ecosystem overall, it's a triumph, because things have to be burnt away, dead wood has to be got rid of, and there's some, I think I've mentioned this before as well, there are literally some trees that have to be, that they rely on that fire season in order to restart or to spread their seeds or something like that. But that always makes me think of the Tower, because it's about leveling everything. All right, it can come out when you're in a relationship that really needs to change, and it doesn't, you sort of point past the point of shoring up the holes and doing the pointing and rebuilding little bits of it at a time. It's like it needs level to the floor, so you rebuild from the foundations, just as it can apply to other life situations where you need to basically start again with something. Now, the really good thing about these cards, okay, is that either side of our Tower, and I feel confident that I've used my intuition correctly and put these in the right order, either side of this event, we have both the protection and then we have the way forward. Okay, and the way forward is the Star card, and this is hope. Now, this is also a card of new beginnings, and it's a card that comes out, I find, when you don't know which way to go anymore, and it feels like the light is growing very dim, and then we see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I don't mean that in a like passing over way, I mean that in a kind of, whoa, the light's at the end of the tunnel. It's like that sudden inspiration of, this is the way that I go now, I'm heading in the right direction. It's like one of the most positive cards in the deck, because it offers hope and it offers salvation. And it's like, if you look at the card, you've got these little stars around the main star, sorry. And I always think that's like, it's like your name in stars. So it's like, if you have a hope or a dream, when you see the Star card, it's like that is going to manifest. So it feels like you're entering into this stage, you're being protected, but you're entering into a stage where there's going to be huge changes. Now, the Temperance angel also has 1 foot on water and 1 foot on land, and that suggests a balance between practicality and emotional ways of dealing with things. So I feel that we're being told that if this resonates with you, when you're moving into this period of sort of destruction, but in a good way, it's you need to keep your wits about you, but you need to keep that balance of emotion and logic. Okay, so don't let either take you too far down one road. But the ending, the outcome of this little triptych of cards is really good. It's like, these two cards together here, the Tower and the Star, you'd imagine like, I don't know, if you imagine like a huge scene of destruction and then like the dawn breaks and there's just this tiny shaft of sunlight comes through and then it sort of illuminates this little plant that's growing out of the rubble, and it's the best plant that anybody's ever seen and will bear the best fruit and flowers and everything. And it's that sort of combination, that knocking everything down, destroying everything so that new life, not something new that's better than it has been before, can grow. So these are really good cards, and you have this temperance angel standing behind you, and overseeing what's going on. So I hope that's a really deep three-carder this morning. I'm just going to have a quick look at the chat because I hadn't scrolled down, so it wasn't on the screen. Okay, Mr. Steve, that's interesting about your ex's bushfire. I hope she recovered okay from that. I'm just having a quick look. Right, I haven't missed anything, have I? No. Right, so that's our three-card reading. I see Mr. Steve has commented about Friday the 13th and the connection with the Knights Templar. And there's so many things like that. I just had a quick think about Friday the 13th this morning. And I did come across that tradition of the that Knights Templar Association. But I also, dun, 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 look at my tech skills. I also came across this. Look at that smooth link as well. So it was interesting to me because, first of all, I was looking at, why is Friday the 13th supposed to be unlucky? And there's so many people out there that even actually really fear it, like they won't travel on Friday the 13th, and, they'll put things off that they could do. So they'll put it off to a different day, and there's actually a name for that, and I've put it on the screen because I can't pronounce it, but I'm gonna go for it and have a shot. So we've got paraskevidecatriophobia, paraskevidecapri paraskevidecapri para 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 paraskevidecatriophobia. I don't know if that's right or not, but that is a fear of Friday the 13th, which makes sense and what I really put that on the screen for, and it wasn't so that I could mess up pronouncing it. It's because it makes sense to me, and that so when it says studies suggest that people are more anxious and cautious on a day like Friday the 13th, and as a result, this can cause increased accident reports. And this information came from an insurer, so they would know, obviously, because they're paying out or not paying out, as the case may be, for different accidents. So it feels like, when there are such things as self-fulfilling prophecies for sure, and I always think this is an important thing as it applies to tarot as well, because I think I've mentioned this before. I'm sorry if I repeat myself. I'm getting old and I forget what I've said. I used to go out with a guy when I was like 21, so a long time ago, and his mum would not let him have a blue car. Neither would she allow him to travel in a blue car, if at all possible. And they would never have a blue car. The reason being is that when his mum, who would have been, I don't know, late 40s at the time, had been like a teenager, she'd seen a tarot reader who told her that either her or one of her family would die in a crash in a blue car. And so she spent her whole life avoiding blue cars and then passed it on to her son. And I just think that is so irresponsible of somebody to tell somebody that, because it's so challenging and difficult and such a weird thing to do. But also, right now, I'm not saying I haven't seen them for a long time, but also I think things like that have the power to self-fulfill, because where your thoughts go, your energy flows and action happens. And I see this happen so many times. I mean, how many times have you found yourself speaking things into existence? Like, you talk about something as if it's already happened, and then it happens. That's a manifestation technique, manifestation 101. But it's also about that self-fulfilling prophecies and that power of attraction, which I think is linked in. Now, this also reminds me of when I was ill last year, and people keep telling, I was having chemo, and people keep telling me to stay positive. And it's literally the worst thing to say to somebody. It was the worst thing to say to me, because I was like, well, how do I do that? Like, don't tell me to stay positive if you're not going to tell me how to do it, because I'm struggling. And then I was beating myself up for not feeling positive, because I was thinking, oh no, I'm going to make myself ill by feeling so negative. But it was really difficult to turn my mindset around. But I've given that a lot of thought over the last year, and I've come up with all different little techniques and things, and I'm going to put some of them together in a different video. But anyway, that's for a different day. So, but that does bring me over to the Friday the 13th wish spell that you can also see on the screen there. And I'm talking about that because I'm talking about law of attraction, manifestation, self-fulfilling prophecies. As far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, spell work is manifestation, is intention setting, and so that's why we're talking about spells now. But I thought this would be interesting because a lot of witches, mostly I would say that perhaps not sort of traditional witches, but certainly a lot of witches that you see manifesting their skills online on TikTok, etc., all have a thing for Friday the 13th. And I reckon the day probably does have some power, and I think it's because over time, when you continually mark something all the time, when you continually mark a number or mark a time, and the 13th has got a lot of connotations going back, hasn't it? There's the thing with the Knights Templar, there's a thing with Judas Iscariot being the 13th disciple. There's also a thing from Norse mythology where Loki was the uninvited 13th guest at a dinner at Valhalla, which ended in the destruction of one of the most loved and favoured gods. So there's loads of things like that. Loads of things in the Bible happened on a Friday. There was the Adam and Eve were supposed to have the apple on the Friday. There was the Great Flood supposedly happened on a Friday. Of course, Jesus was supposed to be crucified on Good Friday. It didn't turn out very good for him. But, you know, so there's been that long association with Friday, and also with the number 13 as well, for various reasons. And they sort of got tied together with all these things. So I think that they do have power, and I think that's why their day is quite popular with spellcasters. And I think that it will have that sort of ingrained, you get that resonant sort of shadow of it moving from year to year to year. So there's my little Friday the 13th spell, and I thought this was a nice one because I had a look this morning, and it's quite simple, and I think it's quite powerful because it's about setting your intention to fulfill your wishes. So what you've got there is a wish spell where you take 13 bay leaves, and you'd light your candle, and you'd set your intentions, and you write 13 wishes onto your bay leaves, and then you burn them in your cauldron or your pan or whatever you're using with your candle. And as they're burning, you say this little spell. Where did I wrote it down just off this thing, but I added a few bits here. So it says on that little meme thing that I found online, by the power of 13 my wishes burn. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. By the power of 13, one bay leaf wish will manifest to me the other wishes I set free, to find a home with love from me to you. No harm be done, so mote it be. So I added those bits on the end, but it's a lovely concept because it's like you're setting 13 wishes. You burn them, you ask that one manifests for you, but then you ask that the universe takes the other 12 and they manifest for somebody else. So it's really involving that power of attraction, but also a karmic thing as well. And what I added onto the end there was the stuff about setting them free, and no harm returns, because I always put that on the end of a spell just to deflect anything, just in case, finishing it off with a so mote it be, which is sealing the deal for me. So there's a little bit of extra on that spell. If you wanted to know what I added onto that, just ask me in the comments or send me an email, naomi@skyspirit.co.uk. And while I'm promoting myself, I might as well ask you to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, to like the stream and share it with like-minded people if you can. So that was my little Friday the 13th session. So we're going to move now on to looking at the 12 card reading, but it's actually not, is it? It's 24 cards, but I haven't found a way yet to succinctly describe what this actually is. So basically, this is how we do it. If you've been here before, you know what I'm going to say. So we choose a number between 1 and 12. You think of a question if you have a question, or you can leave your mind open and just ask the tarot to give you a gift of knowledge or some advice. Okay, sometimes the tarot's best approached like that, sort of very openly, and you just take what it gives. So, but if you want an answer to a specific question, think of your question and think of a number between 1 and 12. If you feel drawn to have more than one number, go for it. Take as many numbers as you like. They're free to choose. If that all makes sense, I'm going to go ahead. If you just want to listen and take what resonates with you, then that is a great way to do it as well. Right, let's go for this. I'm going to change over to my other screen and we'll lay the cards out. So I put 2 down for each set. So we go around once. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I'm going around again. That was that way up. That's strange. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, right. We're going to start at number 1, seeing as that came out with my 5 of Wands facing up. Right, so we've got the Page of Swords and the 5 of Wands. Okay, so let's have a look at these 2 cards. First of all, this feels like it's important. This feels like this is going to have a message for somebody that needs to be listened to today. And I'm saying that because there's always a reason why a card will flip out right way up, okay, when you're not expecting it. It's like it's trying to draw your attention to it, and then it's up to you to interpret what this actually means. And in this case, I'm going to say, right, I'm just being drawn to tell you, number 1, this is supposed to be an important message for you. And it's about people around you who are backbiting, who might be talking about you behind your back. It looks like when this 5 of Wands is about teamwork, when it's this way up, this group of people are sort of batting at each other with their wands, but they're not doing any damage and they're almost sort of dancing. So it's about healthy competition and teamwork. When it comes like this, it's about jealousy, envy, being dishonest, people working against you, people going behind your back. Okay, it's not a different deck, Aussie Mel. It's still the Universal Golden Tarot. I haven't changed the deck. It's probably the lighting. So backbiting, people talking about you behind your back, backstabbing. And then we have the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is somebody who goes and hunts out the truth, all right? So it feels to me like the cards are telling you to have a dig around and see what you can discover, because somebody's keeping the truth from you, or somebody's not being honest with you, or somebody's not telling you what's being said, and you're being asked to be the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords has clouds in the background. When you see clouds, we talk about confusion. When we're looking at the page, he has the sword of justice and truth in his hand. Good morning, Nicola. How are you doing? And it's like he uses that sword to waft away, but waft in a more brutal manner, the clouds of confusion in order to bring clarity and a path forward. So these these cards combined say to me, pick up your sword, have a bit of a dig around, find out who this person or these people are that are doing you no good behind your back or around you, okay? They're like the dead wood that needs to go, okay? So take the sword of confusion and you need to cut ties, all right? Because it feels like they're holding you back. The page is also the start of something new, and it feels like this energy is holding you back from I'm just reading Aussie Mel's comment there. I get the cards muddled up when I see an ace and a page as well. But this is definitely my, I'm double checking there. This is definitely my page. So you're being asked to cut out these people. Go looking for the truth today. Be that Page of Swords. And once you find it, that path forward will seem clearer to you without these people sort of clouding it. So that was number 1. Let's go for number 2, just because I feel linear. Oh, I've not changed my screen, but I have now. Number 2. Oh, we've got the Devil and the Ten of Cups reversed. I just wanted to add on there as well that I'm hoping maybe the Death card will make an appearance today as well, because that's the number 13, and that's one of the associations with Friday the 13th, obviously. But here we have close companion of the Death card, the Devil, and the Ten of Cups reversed. Interesting duo of cards. Right. What these cards would say to me is that if you've chosen number 2, or if this resonates with you, it feels like there's something dark holding you back from achieving domestic or emotional bliss. This card is about fulfillment. When it's this way up, it's like when you get to that time in life where you're sitting on your decking in a rocking chair with the sun just sort of going down in the afternoon, the birds are singing, a gentle fountain is playing, and you're just like, you feel like you're glowing. Your pets or your kids or your husband or your wife or whoever it is that you want to share your space with, or maybe it's nobody, is sort of in the background. There's a low murmur of the radio or your favorite music, and that is the feeling. Okay, that is the feeling of the Ten of Cards. Hold on to that feeling. When this is upside down and then we have the Devil making an appearance here, it's like that's what you want to achieve, that's what you want, but what is it that's stopping you from getting there? Enter stage Mr. Beelzebub here. He is about oppression, addiction, holding on to ideas that no longer serve you, making a prison for yourself, holding yourself back by bad habits. Too much of one thing, too much substances, too much drinking, too much partying, too much not listening, too many negative relationships, toxicity, things that are not good for you. This can also be somebody else who can be brutal or violent or manipulative or deceitful or that sort of bad energy, okay? It can also be somebody that you're very, very physically attracted to, but who emotionally isn't good for you, okay? So those are a few different ways that we can look at the Devil card, but whatever your particular devil is, it's holding you back from the position of bliss where you want to be. So you're not achieving your aims and your emotional dreams because something is holding you back. Now, the good thing about the Devil card is that if you have a look at the bottom of the card here, you've got the Lovers chained to the Devil's throne. Now, the good thing, the symbology here to know is that the Lovers are chained very loosely, which means that they are free to go should they choose to. And that is the can't think of the word. That is, I had a really good word on the tip of my tongue. It would have sounded dead clever. Now I've forgotten it. That is the not travesty. That is the that is the thing about the Devil card, is that it's something holding you back, but it's something of your own making. You can slip those chains and walk away at any time, but you have to make the decision to do so. Yeah, it's like all good demons, you have to invite them in, and you can get rid of them when you forcefully tell them to go in many cases. So it's like you need to make that decision. You need to draw that line in the sand. You need to stop harping back. Oh dear, why is it between 10:30 and 11:30 my brain turns to mush and I can't think of any words? I don't know. But anyway, you don't need to keep going back to whatever this is. It does not hold you back. Mr. Steve, it could have been the dilemma. Yeah, dilemma between... No, it wasn't quite dilemma. It was, when something's black and white in something. Opposing things like oh gosh, I can't think. No, I'm not going to think. Not going to, because my head gets tired. I'm still trying to think of the astrologist that I couldn't remember last Wednesday, and that's gone from my head again as well because I thought of it earlier. No, what's going on? Number 3. Right, number 3. Oh, look, I forgot my screen again. Concentrate, focus, focus, focus. I want to do this so you can see me turning them over. Number 3, we have got the Moon reversed, and then we have got Judgment. So these are two really interesting cards again. And what we've got here, Judgment talks about a crossroads, talks about a time that you come to in life when you decide, I've got to make up my mind here what I'm going to do. I've got to decide which way I'm going to go forward. I've gone down one route, it's not worked. Let's try another road. Or you could be deciding to leave certain things behind. That judgment is that life appraisal. It's that looking at sort of looking at the things around you and deciding what you want to keep and what you want to get rid of. Actually, this ties in well with that, with the astrology of today, which is that crossroads, which is looking at yourself in the mirror and being honest and deciding, what do you like, what do you not like, what can you work on about the things that you don't like. If you met yourself as somebody else, would you like yourself? Which bits would you like? Which bits would annoy you? Which bits can be improved? So this is the judgment card, okay? And that personal appraisal ties in so well with the moon reversed, because the moon reversed is talking about deceit lifting. All right, it talks about self-deceit, self-delusion, things that aren't real. Things look different under the moonlight, don't they? And it's like fantasy is easier, and there's, you know, traditionally ghosts and goblins and all that, and it's like it's spooky under the moonlight. Yeah, things look odd. So when you see this card teamed with judgment, it's saying, okay, you have not been looking at things in their true light. Yeah, you've been deceiving yourself. Something is not as you have convinced yourself. All right, you need to lift that veil and turn back to the sunlight and look at things in an honest way, okay? Because it could well be that you need to take a different route. But first of all, you need to identify where your moon of deceit is. Like, what is it that you're not seeing clearly? What is it that you're seeing in moonlight and not sunlight? Now, yeah, you need to sort of first of all evaluate what that is before you can make a decision about what to do with it. But it feels to me very much like this is a major arcana card, so it feels like you could be at a major crossroads coming up shortly, where you're going to need to make some very astute decisions about your way forward. Good morning, Bear, how are you doing? And to do that, you need to stop deceiving yourself, or you need to take off those rose tinted spectacles and look at things in a sort of more realistic light. Okay, interesting cards so far. Right, so where are we going to go next? We're going to go for number 12. What do we have? Number 12, we have the Knight of Cups, and then we have the Ace of Swords. So this one's the Ace, Aussie Mel. This one's the Ace. Let's have a look. Right, so our Knight of Cups. Such a creative, dreamy, wonderful energy this is. If you are, if your question that you thought about was about love, or particularly about new relationships, this is a card of new relationships. This is the Knight in shining armor. He's creative, he's blissful, he rides in on his white horse, and he sort of just, you know, he steals your heart and gallops away. Okay, so that's the Knight of Cups. He's a dreamy situation approaching. Now, also, if your question, or if you're thinking about new love, this little combination of cards here is really interesting. All right, because the Knight of Cups is the romance, is the Knight in shining armor, and then that Ace of Swords here, that's very phallic. So we've got some real sexual energy going on there. And also an ace is about new beginnings. So look at how these two cards interact. You've got a Knight in shining armor, a new beginning, and a phallic image. So it's and cups. So we're looking at love as well. Love, lust, new beginnings. Let's go. All right. So if you were on the market for a new romance, then these cards couldn't be better. If you are already firmly ensconced in your own relationship, think about these cards as symbolizing perhaps there is a new phase of a relationship. Perhaps you can expect things to return to a little bit how they used to be when you were younger, indicated by our Knight of Cups. That Knight is that youthful energy. It's creative, inspirational. It's the butterflies feeling in your tummy, okay? And again, that new start. So maybe date night is something to take up, but it's this new beginning. Now, I'll also give you a third explanation here, because some of us are single and want to stay that way. So, and the cards can relate to that as well. And this isn't a get out, because you can see the cards have so many combinations and different meanings, and it also depends on, like, when you do like a Celtic cross spread, you have cards in a certain position, so that gives context as well. So we're looking at these from an uncontexted point of view, if you see what I mean. So if you are single and you want to stay that way, this could be about starting something new where you feel emotional fulfillment, because that Knight doesn't have to be a person, it can be a situation. So it could be a creative opportunity coming your way that creates emotional fulfillment and gives you a renewed sort of energy and thrust for life, and that sort of new beginning, starting something new feeling. And also that ace is very fertile, creative, planting seeds. You see the phallic energy sort of connotations going through here. It's all about planting the seeds of something new, and our cups are very creative. I agree, Kaza. So these I hope you chose number 12 today, Kaza, because this would be you starting on a new creative journey in life, and not the Knight of Cups turning up as a person in particular. But also, never say never, eh? You just don't know. So we don't know. There could be a Mr. Kaza Bear very, very soon on the horizon. Is there already? Right, that was number 12. Number 11. No, you've said you're single, aren't you? Right. Yes, I did see that. Yes. Right. So number 11. Oh no, look, missed my thing. We'll do that again. Number 11. Number 11, we have the Three of Pentacles and the Hanged Man reversed. So what do these cards mean? These cards are very interesting. The Three of Pentacles is about success, promotion, recognition of skills. Okay, we have a stonemason in the house. Stonemasons are loved by the tarot, and they indicate that practical doing with hands skill. But of course, doing with hands, used to in the days of olderness, probably mean being a stonemason or a farmer or a blacksmith, potter, yeah. Whereas today, doing with hands, we can create all sorts of things. So it's not necessarily taking up a chisel and making something. Could be you might be a content creator, you might be somebody who works with children, you might be a baker, you might be this, that, and the other. That creative. All you have to do to be a creator is to make something which has an independent existence beyond yourself. So it's creating something. It might be a breakfast, or it might be a masterpiece piece of music, something like that. It could be something that you do at work, you know. There's so many explanations that my head just went blank again there. So this is what this card is all about, but it's about recognition for those skills. You often see this card coming out where somebody is about to, for example, if somebody is waiting for results of an interview or a test or exams or something like that, you'll see this card. If somebody wants to get a promotion or something like that, you'll see this card. It's like a promotion will be on the cards when this comes out, because it's about recognition of skills. But then, bang, we have landing the Hanged Man reversed. See this guy? He should not be this way up. When the Hanged Man is in his rightful position, he's this way up, because what he's doing is he's hanging around, accumulating wisdom, and he's not making hasty decisions. When he's this way up, the world isn't as settled, okay? When he's this way up, and combined with this card, what we're seeing here is you're being told to stop hanging around, to put yourself forward, because you have the skills, you can get the recognition, but you sort of hiding your light under a bushel, yeah, not putting yourself forward. So you're not going to get anywhere unless you actually give yourself a bit of a kick up the ass, and you need more self-confidence, I think, rather than that kick up the ass. I think it's more about having the confidence in your abilities to step forward, and to put yourself forward and to believe in yourself, because it feels to me that if you don't do that, this opportunity might pass you by. So they're really positive cards, but you need to take heed. Number 10. Number 10. If you have asked me a question, then if you can wait till the end, I don't know what you asked for, Pedro. But if you type it with a QQQ, I'll find it, and then I'll see if I can get to a little reading for you at the end there. Right, number 10. I've got the right screen on. Da, da, da. What have we got here? Okay. So we've got the Ace of Wands reversed and the Ten of Swords reversed. All right. So let us see. Feels to me that what we've got here is it feels like something didn't get off the ground for you. All right. There was a new direction that you were going to take, but it feels like you hit a stumbling block. No problem, Pedro. It feels like you've hit a stumbling block. It feels like you had your mind set on something and you decided to go one way and it didn't work. It could well be that there were obstacles put in your path. It could well be that resources ran out. It could well be that your energy just wasn't right, or that you ran out of energy for a particular task in mind. It's like, you know, when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to start a business selling beach balls that goldfish can play with, or something like that, or flavored cottage cheese, you know, or something like that. And you like, in the middle of the night, it feels like the best idea that you've ever had. And you're like, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to contact this person. I'm going to make a website. I'm going to do this. It's all going to be brilliant. This time next year, Rodney will be millionaires. And then you just go back to sleep with a smile on your face. And you wake up in the morning and you think, why, what was I thinking? That makes no sense whatsoever. So that would be an extreme example of this kind of energy. It's like when you go, oh, right, this is going to be really good. And then however long it is afterwards, you're like, yeah, that was a really stupid idea, or I just can't be bothered with that, or I haven't got the energy for it. Or you might have had an idea and there's been blockages put in front of it, or stumbling blocks or obstacles, okay, and you could be feeling quite despondent about that. But what these cards are telling us in combination is that, sorry, I looked at my phone there for a reason which I'll mention in a minute, and then lost track of what I was going to say. What these cards are telling us is that, okay, you've had a stumbling block, you haven't gone in the direction that you wanted to, but that was a good thing, because that way led to something that you didn't want, okay? It feels like your path had to change in order to avoid, I try to err away from saying catastrophe, because like it's sort of quite a strong word, isn't it? But we're going to use it anyway. Catastrophe, all right? The Ten of Swords talks about an event that brings chaos, can be unpleasant. It's you know, it can be illness. It can be just feeling like you don't have any strength left, feeling like, look at him, he's got all these swords sticking out of him. If you've ever seen, I mean, I hate this, but like Spanish bullfighting, when they're like sticking one arrow thing after another into a poor bull till it falls to the floor exhausted. I hate that so much. But that's what this card is about. It's like when you've had one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other thing that's gone wrong, and all stuck in you until you collapse to the floor. However, the good news is that this is a reversal along with this. So these two together would indicate that you've avoided that situation by this thing that didn't work out. It's like, you know, be careful what you wish for, all right? You might have been wishing for the wrong thing. Something's been removed from your life path because it was heading for something that wouldn't have been very good, i.e. this being the bull in the bull ring situation, okay? So you were heading in that direction, but you have been rescued, okay? And you now been sent out to pasture to graze for the rest of your bully life. So things have changed, all right? So you need to regroup your energy. We need to go back to this. We need to return, because this indicates a blockage. So we need this energy back upright. So you need to start again down a different path, okay? Interesting cards again. Next, we're going to go for number 4. Number 4, very interesting cards, really good cards. You've got the Three of Wands and the Star. So let's have a look at these cards. Three of Wands and the Star. Beautiful cards, because this talks about you're looking to expand, you're looking to change, you're looking to grow, you're looking at your horizons, you're thinking about, could be thinking about travel. But if that's not physical travel, it could be mental travel, it could be emotional travel. Travel with the tarot doesn't just mean like moving over the sea or moving from one place to another, you know, like going to France for a holiday or whatever. It is moving you, whether that's you spirit or you physical. All right, so the Three of Wands can mean like just moving from one mental place to another, but it's an action card. It's a three. It's not thinking about it and thinking, procrastinating. Yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that next year. It's like, wow, it's happening. You're doing it. You're a mover and shaker. Now is the time. It's a time of high energy. It's a three. Three is the child card. It's when mum and dad make baby, and it's that action. It's new life. Okay, so your Three of Wands talks about manifesting things that come into reality. Now, we're still under the influence of the strawberry full moon as I speak today on the 13th of June as well. So this card would tie in nicely with that, because that full moon, bountiful, manifesting, this is this card. It's like the grapes are ready to be picked. Which direction are we going to go in now? Okay, you're in a position of power. You're in a position where you're being asked to change things up, take on new challenges, look for new horizons, think about what you've achieved and where you can go from here. Because what lies ahead of you is the Star card. Now, we've already met the Star card today. She was in the 3-card reading, and the Star card teamed with the Three of Wands indicates that this progress, this change, this movement that you make as a result of the energy that you're feeling today will take you to this position. Naming lights, achieving your aims, achieving your dreams. The Star is hope, joy, fulfillment. It's getting to that place. Think about in the story, the nativity story, Mary and Joseph following the star to Bethlehem, and then they get there and then they have Jesus and all that kind of jazz. So it's like their mission accomplished, isn't it? That is your star. You're following your star when you're expanding your plans, and then it's mission accomplished. It's like it's an indicator that you're going in the right direction. It's a lamp that's being held, and you're heading for this position of fulfillment. And on the actual illustration, if you can see this, she pours water into the sea, she pours water into water and water onto land, and that indicates that your emotions are really, really stabilized, and you're sort of able to give as well as take, and it's like building up that whole fantastic energy of that card. We do like that card. So these are a really good card combo. I wish I'd remembered to choose a number between 1 and 12, and I would have hoped to have had those cards. Next cards. So where are we going now? Let's have a think. Let's go for number 9. Number 9. Okay, we've got a Page of Pentacles reversed, and we've got a Hierophant. Interesting cards again. Right, Page of Pentacles reversed can indicate a loss of employment, a mistake at work, something along those lines. The Page of Pentacles can be a youthful energy who's interested in financial matters, or somebody who's quite grounded, who's quite young, but with it being reversed, it feels like it's a bit of a hiccup. So it's either a mistake that could be made at work, or a mistake that's made by a younger person in a sort of financial situation. Okay, now because this card has come out teamed with the Hierophant, that makes the meaning more nuanced, I would say, because this is a card of organization and corporation, like things like churches, massive PLC companies, hierarchical, patriarchal structures, things like that. Okay, and coming out with this card, it's like if I was doing a reading for somebody and they'd asked a question about work, I would be like, whoa, be very, very careful, because you're making a mistake at work and it's going to bring down the power of the corporation on your head. Okay, it feels like there's that energy with these two cards. With this being a sort of generalized reading, and I don't know if anybody's thinking about issues to do with work, it's difficult to relate that outside of work because of how these cards work together. However, if you've chosen number 9 and you have a different question and it's not to do with work, because that's a very obvious reason, this could also be about taking a more structured approach to how you're dealing with your finances, and try maybe the Page of Pentacles reverse would be indicating a foolish and sort of a foolish decision, a decision made, I want to say with youthful optimism, but maybe it's naivety. Like perhaps you're putting your trust, that page, the youth, the naivety, the trust in somebody financially, and it feels like that would be not the right thing to do. And again, it would bring that sort of full force of the law or some kind of corporation down on you. So these are interesting cards, but they're very, very oppositional, I think. Which is always interesting. Now, the Hierophant, of course, is a major arcana card, so it's a powerful influence, this, but it feels like there is this, it's rigid structure, rigid organization, orthodox, the well-traveled pathway of doing something. So whatever this financial mistake is, or whatever this sort of error that's made in naivety or by a youth, it feels like the way out of that situation is going to be very much a structured, well-worn path with an organizational approach to it, being organized rather than being the page who's sort of that more naive, flippant, joyful, youthful, but not sort of as organized energy. Yeah, these are really tricky cards. Yeah, if these resonate with you in any way, let me know if you chose number 9, because I'd be interested to see how those relate, because they're quite tricky cards to interpret. So, where shall we go next? We haven't seen the Death card yet, have we? And I was hoping that would turn up today, with it being the 13th, but the tarot moves in mysterious ways. Let's see, we have got number 5. Number 5, okay. We've got the Tower and the Ten of Wands reversed. Okay, right. This is really quite clear, all right? These two cards together in this order, to me, would be about you've taken on too much. Now, the Ten of Wands is about taking on too much, reversed, sorry. It's about taking on too much, but these are things that you've picked up yourself. So it's not like these things have been thrust upon you. It feels like you have taken on too much yourself, all right? And of course, when you've taken on too many things yourself, you're the only person who can put them down, and you need to put down some of those burdens, and you need to stop carrying other people's burdens, okay? Because you don't have to. There's nothing in your life contract that says that you have to carry everybody else's problems on your shoulders, but you've decided to do that. Now, this card and then this card, let's read the narrative here. It's you need to put down these problems, or you're heading for your own problem, all right? And the Tower, remember the Tower? We've seen the Tower before today as well. Is about a situation that needs razed to the ground. It's a life-changing event. It can be chaos, it can be illness, it can be destruction, it can be an accident. It can just be a period of life that you feel like, whoa, everything's suddenly gone wrong, or I've had to rebuild everything, or something that I thought was right is not right. I'm going to have to get rid of it and start again. Okay, so there's various explanations of the Tower. Not all gloom and doom, okay? It doesn't mean, oh my goodness, there's going to be an accident, or oh my goodness, I'm going to be ill. It doesn't mean like that. The tarot, unfortunately, isn't that straightforward. If only it would be sort of direct like that. And that's why when I see other tarot readers, I'm not going to slag any off in particular, but like particularly on TikTok, and they're like, oh, I'm looking at this card and I can see that this man is opening his phone and he's thinking this, and he's looking at this photo of you, and then this happens, and I'm like, shut up, that is not the case. You cannot see that from looking at one tarot card. All right, tell me if you're using your intuition to do that, or tell me if you're using remote viewing, or using astral viewing, but don't tell me you're looking at a tarot card and seeing that, because you ain't, because unfortunately they're not that specific, okay? It relies a lot on flashes of intuition, clairvoyancy as well, okay, which I'm not using. I'm using the tarot, so this can't tell you exactly what that event is, but it's not all doom and gloom. Some Tower events are things like, all right, here would be a Tower event that isn't particularly negative. So I might have got up yesterday and stood in front of my full-length wardrobe mirror in the nudie-do and thought, oh my goodness, this is the turning point. Things need to change. I need to address my diet and exercise. All right. That, although it's really like minor, that's a mini tower moment. It's that, oh my goodness, look at that. That's awful. I'm going to have to do something about that. Let's start again. Okay. So it's like, we have these like mini tower moments, and that was a really trivial one, I know, but it's like, it's when you decide that, okay, I've got to start again with something. I've got to really address this. I've got to like, I've reached a point in my life where I've got to do this. So these two cards together, you need to put down some of these burdens. You need to stop picking more up. You need to stop carrying people on your shoulders or taking on too much responsibility, because it's leading you to this point where, this would be like, this would be ideal of somebody who like is almost like a martyr. Oh, it's all right, I'll do that. No, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that as well. No, it's okay, I'll do that. I'll do that too. Do you want me to help? Oh, of course. No, I can do it. Oh no, I don't need any help. I don't need any help. I'll do it myself. I'll do it. I'll do it. I can do it. This is this. Okay, I can do it. And then gets to a place and they're like, I can't do this anymore, right? Why have I even bothered? And like has a massive meltdown because they've taken on too much. But they took on too much because they kept inviting it, because they were playing that martyr thing. So those would be another explanation here. So if you've chosen what are we on, number 5, then think about, what is this situation that you need to put down some of these burdens and stop taking them on. Also ask for help, or ask somebody to assist you with carrying the burdens, yeah, to avoid this moment of meltdown. Moving on, we will now go for number 8. Number 8. Good morning, Nimira. How are you doing? Number 8. Oh, these are interesting cards. I like these. High Priestess, one of my favourite cards of the deck, and the 9 of Swords. Very straightforward and very insightful card, I find. Let's have a look. Right, we have got High Priestess, 9 of Swords. Basically, this is a card of nightmares and stress, and this is a card of intuition and deeper inner knowing, okay? So these two cards together would indicate that you're going through a period of stress and anxiety, and it sort of feels like you might have been kept awake at night. And it's that sort of overthinking, shallow, trying to plan a way out of things, okay? Trying to rationalize, get mental closure, and like I have a habit of doing this. I'll like work through things at night, thinking of past arguments and trying to work through and trying to get closure in my head. But some things don't have closure, and they can drive you mad. You can go into like what is it called when you do this in a spreadsheet and you do an equation which involves part of it becomes a circular equation, so it goes round and round and round. You can't get out of it. All right, that is the 9 of Swords, right? So this feels like you've been stuck on something has been eating at you and could have even been keeping you awake at night. All right, it's like a nightmare situation, stress, anxiety, not knowing which way to go. And then we have the beautiful, beautiful High Priestess arrives, okay? And she has, what she says to you is, all right, stop doing the other thinking. Trust that this situation will resolve. And she's about intuition, and she's about knowing her deeper self, and she's about things hidden as well. So it feels like whatever situation it is that you're stressing about, there are things hidden about it which will become apparent, and you need to take your foot off the gas, put your car, if you're driving a manual, into neutral, and then just coast down the hills, and then up the valleys, and then down the hills, and you just wait and see what happens in this situation, because it feels like whatever you're stressing about, it's doing you no good worrying about it. What is it that people say, worrying doesn't change anything, it just like strips the joy from your day. And like, again, I recognize it's really patronizing to say, look, don't worry about anything. That's like me being told when I was ill, like, oh, just stay positive during chemo. And it's like, well, how do I do that? It's like being told to to do anything, just to rely on something becoming apparent It's like, how do you do that? Okay. So, although the high priestess is saying to you, rely on your intuition, accept that there are things going on behind the scenes, what you're doing with worry, you can't change anything by worrying about it. All right. Those are just words, aren't they? But we need to be able to live them as well. And the way that the high priestess teaches us to live the way that we want to is by introducing that, excuse me, concept of stillness and of self-reflection and of going within. The only way out is in, all right? And that is a short way of saying meditate. And I know, like, it feels like the answer to everything spiritual seems to be meditation, and it's probably one of the simplest yet one of the hardest things to master. But it really is the key to so many things, and opens so many doors. Now, I'm going to start doing a series of content about predominantly astral projection and ways to achieve that. But there's also, because meditation features in so many things, that relies on a little bit of meditation-ish as well. So I'm going to be putting together some resources for that. So I will be releasing some content about that. But it's such an important thing. And these two cards together, these are reading as that message, as in there are things that are deeper than you know. There are ways that this will be solved. There are things that are yet unknown that will become apparent. What you have to do is remain still like the high priestess. Try to use your intuition. If you want to develop that, use meditation to enhance your stillness and to go within, and to try to be like the high priestess as well. You see, she sits between two pillars. They're black and they're white. I forget what they mean. I think it's honesty and something else. They're from some Greek temple or something like that. I'll look into that. But what it is, she's about balance. She's about duality. Duality is accepting that we all have good and bad. We can all be angry, we can all be joyful, we can all be evil, we can all be good. You know, we have that duality within us, and we feel most at peace when we're able to what is the word I'm looking for again? I never think of my words in the morning. We need to come to terms with the fact, or to feel comfortable with the fact, that we have this duality within ourselves. We need to be acceptance. Practicing acceptance of this duality brings peace. And the high priestess is all about that. She's all about the masculine, the feminine, the dark, the light, the good, the bad, the fire, the water, okay? It's about finding that balance. It's about meditation in order to wait, because this situation will resolve. It's just things aren't apparent yet. Woo, that was a deep one, was it not? I'm liking the cards this morning. They feel like they're like particularly powerful. Maybe it's the Friday the 13th energy, eh? Right. I mean, it's like, I'm going to digress a little here. I digress warning. I should have like a warning sticker comes up. I think Friday the 13th has energy, and like but it sort of baffles me how that can be. Let's just put me back on for a minute. It baffles me how that could be, because I sort of think, how can a day and a number have energy? Because it's a construct of humans, isn't it? Um, but I think it's the way that I understand, because I use the Lord's Prayer when I'm doing clearing of negative energies, but I'm not a Christian, but it works. I've seen it dispel negative energies really effectively. And I think the same principle applies. I think it's to do with the fact that it's been used and it's been given importance and given meaning and given relevance by so many millions and millions of people over so many thousands of years, that it accumulates this residual energy around it. And I think that's how it works. And I can't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, it's because I said maybe the cards have got Friday the 13th energy. So I thought I should explain that. Right, back to the cards. Number six. Number six, temperance and balance. Really easy here. Okay, what we've got here, number six, you're unbalanced, but not necessarily in a mental way. Okay, it feels like you're being told, the angel of temperance is being very strict here and saying moderation, balance. You're putting too many eggs in one basket, or too much energy into one thing, or you're sort of holding things in balance and you're juggling too many things. you need to maintain a healthy balance. These cards would be ideal if I was talking to a workaholic in a private reading and these cards came up. I'd be like, okay, you need your work-life balance back because you have no moderation. All your energy is going into work when you're not putting any into your home life. So if you're a workaholic, that could apply to you. But let's have a look at the more general meanings of what these cards could mean if they're not relevant to work. It could also mean when your focus is on something and you're neglecting something else that's important in your life and you need to readdress your priorities, that would fit with these cards. What would also fit with these cards is if you were, for example, overindulging in something, whether that be substance, drink, shopping, gambling, whatever else it could be. I mean, I overindulge in painting sometimes and neglect housework. Yeah. So it could be those things. On that note, I'm going to hopefully get in the studio later. So if you're around later, look out for a notification from me to say that I'm painting in the studio live because I'm hoping to get in there. And I've got a new microwave, not a microwave, a microphone for the studio. So that might be exciting or not, as the case may be. But I digress again. Digress, shiny, flashy, digress light. So it's about overindulgence as well. So it could be about redressing the balance, rebalancing your body. Okay. So interesting cards again. It's about balance. It's about maintaining balance. It's about looking at if you're overindulging and bringing your body back into a position of balance. Yeah, I think we'll leave that one there. That makes enough sense to me. Number seven, what do we have? Number 7, we have, oh no, it's not the 7. I thought it was Cabbage Man for a second. It is not. We have the 9 of Pentacles reversed and we have the 7 of Wands upright. So what have we got here? All right. So what these cards would mean is you're being challenged. Okay. It feels like you're being challenged around your home life. You're being challenged in the home, or you're being challenged about something to do with your home or garden or your surroundings or the things that you nurture, okay? And it feels like somebody is trying to persuade you in one particular way, and it's in the home setting, or it's about the home, all right? And they're upsetting the apple cart because you want to make your own decisions. And again, this ties in with tomorrow's astrological energy, which is about go your way, my way, or the highway, flying solo day tomorrow. And this is what happens when you want to fly solo and you follow somebody else's advice. You become the 9 of Pentacles upside down. This is a woman who has been shook out of her tree because she's a nurturer. She's somebody who grows. Look at her this way up. She's got a beautiful garden, a beautiful house. She's even got a beautiful bird perching on her finger because she is self-reliant. She is, what is that Beyonce tune about independent women, independent lady, independent girl, something like that. That is this woman, okay? But because she's followed somebody else's advice, she's ended up feeling, I should have made my own decisions here. And it feels like the challenge comes around the home, all right? So if somebody is challenging your authority in your own home or how you're doing things in your life, okay, your home, your car, your business, your kids, whatever. If somebody challenges your authority, tell them to take a hike today, okay? Stand your ground, as in the 7 of Wands standing his ground. See how he grasps his wand firmly and holds it up to protect himself against those energies that are sort of trying to give them, it could be, advice, maybe it's unwanted advice, or it could be, it can be somebody being quite aggressive and telling you how to do something, but it can also just as easily be that unwanted advice or that, no, you don't want to do it like that, you should do it like this, people who sort of want to be in charge of your life sort of thing. So these two cards say very, very clearly, follow your own heart, okay? Make up your own mind, and especially if that decision comes tomorrow, we're tying that in with tomorrow's astrology with that moon entering Aquarius, sextiling Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries. So it's all about doing things your way. Don't listen to somebody else. Have confidence in your decisions, okay? So, right, we're going to go now. That's our 12 card or 24 card 12 pile pickup. And I wanted to do a little Astral Angels Oracle for you as well before we finish off with a few questions. So I consulted my new Astral Angels Oracle deck this morning and chose one card to show you. This is Majestic, which is the first card of the deck. It's also the first angel that I actually challenged. Channeled. That was a strange slip of the tongue, wasn't it? The first angel that I channeled, first angel image that I channeled back in 2009. And I know exactly where I was and what I was doing and all those things when I made this image, and what I felt when I actually slipped into channeling with a higher vibration like this, with a vibration as higher as what I see as an energy angel for the first time. It was intense, okay? So just, this is a really useful card that's come out of the deck for you all this morning, and this is Majestic's message, and it's one of protection. Majestic is an angel who puts her arms around you, and this is what she had to say. I am here to put my arms around you and protect you from all that is negative. I am a healer and protector. I am the mother of the universe. Rest your head against me, for my power is in my love for you. You are never alone and never will be. There is more to this universe than you can imagine, and you've always been a bigger part of it. So this is really a message for you if you feel alone, or if you feel unloved, or if you just feel like you need somebody's arms around you. Majestic is reminding you that you are a child of the universe, and you are more loved than you can imagine, from beyond the veil, through which we cannot see with our own eyes. So that was my oracle message for you, from the Astral Angels Oracle, which I'm hoping to publish soon, and will be available on the website. Those images, that image, Majestic, is available as a print on the website if you're interested. Right, so I'm going to check my phone to see if Gav has texted me the questions, because he was talking about doing that, but he may have forgotten. He has forgotten. Oops, that was my microphone. I'll just have a scan down and see if I can see. I'm looking for QQQs. Now I know I have Pedro, don't I? Right, okay, I've got you, Pedro. Let's get these cards back. I need to give them a good shuffle, so just bear with me while I focus on your question. So, Pedro's, I'm sorry I'm calling you by your second name there. It's just I don't want to actually ruin the pronunciation of your first name. So please forgive my ignorance. Right. Does my family, including cousins, feel that I've been different? Is it because I've been in a phase of self-discovery like I've never been before? Okay. Let's ask the tarot. I never know what to do, like what to say when I'm trying to concentrate and also trying to shuffle, and then there's this silence. I should have some lift music to put on, like do 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 do, while I shuffle the cards, just so the awkward silence goes away. Oops. Right, Pedro's question. Does my family, including cousins, feel that I've been different? Is it because I've been in a phase of self-discovery like I've never been before? Let's ask the tarot. Hey. But I hope Kaza's still here, because we have Kaza's Cabbage Man. Right, okay. So what we've got here, Pedro, is a King of Pentacles reversed, Seven of Pentacles the right way up, and then the Page of Cups. So it feels to me that yes, they do feel like you are different, because we've got this reversed king here. It's like they feel like you're not earthed they feel like you are somebody who has their head in the clouds a little bit, somebody who has you know, some of they don't believe in what you believe in, so it's unsettling for them. That King of Pentacles reversed is about ungrounding. It's about that wobble, that crown coming off. It's like how they see you as somebody who needs to put their feet back on the ground, needs to be the King of Pentacles again, and not this sort of rather unrestrained energy, a freer energy, somebody who isn't restrained by the concepts that have been created by man, that have been, you know, the constraints of law and morality that are put upon us. And it feels like you're more of a questioner. You're somebody, and I'm moving into my page, we'll do these together, the Seven of Pentacles and the Page of Cups here. This is somebody who's embarked on a voyage of self-discovery. It's somebody who's put a lot of work in. And the Page of the Seven of Pentacles here, this is a guy who has spent a lot of time nurturing a crop. Okay, he's planted the seed, he tilled the earth, he planted the seeds, he watered the seeds, he gave them food, they grew, he weeded them, he waited until the sun came out, he watered them when they needed it, he made sure they got sunlight, and now they've come to fruition. Okay, and then it feels like there's this journey of self-discovery, because this is a page of cups is somebody who's on a journey of self-discovery, and it feels like you are reaping the rewards of this journey of self-discovery. Okay, so it's like the journey started for you, and it was like at first you almost doubted yourself, and the family around you would have fed into that, thinking, yeah, you know, that this won't last long. And but it feels like as you progress down that route, things have solidified for you, and things have become, you know, one thing has led to another, as very many more doors have opened to you, because you've taken off the shackles of conformity and gone down a different road. And then it feels like you have got a lot to harvest. Okay, feels like from a self-discovery perspective, you've uncovered things about yourself, and you've learned about yourself a great deal, about what you're capable of, and about your spiritual place. Okay, so that's what these cards are saying, and I hope that makes sense to you, or resonates with you, or helps. So let's go down. I don't know if I had any more questions, did I don't know. Bear with me. We need some kind of music as well for when I'm doing the doom scrolling face. Like, I think I saw another one as I was blethering on, but it's really difficult to see. Aha! Oh no, that's the same question. Okay, Houdini Harry. Hi there, I was wondering if you could do me a tarot reading, as I've been suffering for the past 11 years and I have had 3 divorces. Nothing ever works out for me. No job, luck. Please, if you can guide me. Firstly, Houdini Harry, I'm really sorry to hear that you have been feeling like that and you feel like you've had such poor luck. And do you know, as much as anything, people say to you, stay positive. Positivity attracts positivity. And I know that is so hard. And then you end up feeling even worse because you're feeling like you can't feel positive. And it becomes that self-fulfilling cycle of things happening where, you know, you feel negative, so negative things happen. So you feel more negative, and it all feeds into itself, doesn't it? So sometimes all you need is like one positive thing to happen, isn't it? And then one positive thing to happen in order to start the process of, you know, change for you, and to start things moving in a more positive way. And have you noticed that they say, you know, when they say bad luck comes in threes, but nobody ever says good luck comes in threes, but it does though. And I think that's the same rule, isn't it? It's like something bad happens, you feel negative, so other bad things happen. But like just the same, when one thing positive happens, sometimes we see more positive things happen. That's just an observation, right? So let's have a look. Houdini Harry. I'm just focusing on your question here, Harry or Houdini. Okay, cards, what do you have for Houdini, Harry? Now that's quite interesting. Okay, so I thought you said 3 divorces, but I've only got 2 queens here. So, interestingly, we've got the 2 queens. I'm just having a look at a clarifier there, which is a king. I've got a Queen of Cups reversed, which is a woman who can be dishonest, who can be disloyal, who can be quite brutal, emotionally closed, or perhaps manipulative, obsessive, somebody who uses their feminine wiles for the wrong reasons and to manipulate people. She can also be somebody who was unfaithful, as I said, and disloyal and dishonest. And then we have the Queen of Wands here. Cups is water, Wands is fire. So we've got 2 opposites going on here, 2 female opposites. And it feels like what we have here is a fiery queen, somebody who is quick to temper, somebody who has a lot to say, but somebody who was very headstrong, somebody who wants their own way, wants to be right. Okay, so we've got 2 queens coming out here. And then what we've got is we've got a king, and this is the King of Wands. So I'm teaming him with our Queen of Wands here. So it feels like you are closer to this female energy who's fiery and full of temper. Okay, but my clarifier here again is the 6 of Swords. So it feels like the cards have told you need to draw a line under your ties or your associations or your mental going back to this Queen of Wands. It feels like there's still this karmic bond between you, and you still need to cut the cords between yourself and this situation with this person from your past. Okay, and that's indicated by the 6 of Swords here. If you see the 6 of Swords, it's about leaving conflict behind. Oop, I'm just throwing it on the floor. So if you look, these are people in a boat. One of them's sitting down, one of them is pushing the boat along, and the boat's got the swords on it. And what's happening there is that they're leaving the storm behind, and they're heading for calmer, better places, calmer waters. So this is you being told you need to cut the ties between the King and the Queen of Wands, the fiery King and Queen here, and you need to move away from it. Now, what I'm also being shown here is the 7 of Wands reversed, and this feels to me like in order to move forward as well, you're going to have to, Harry Houdini, Harry, you're going to also have to relearn how to let your barriers down, because it feels like you've boxed yourself into quite a prison. You've put some walls up around you, which are stopping you from moving on, certainly relationship wise. And what I also have here as a clarifier is the 2 of Cups. Now it feels like this is a relationship card. Okay, this is probably the most well-known relationship card of harmony that there is. Teaming it with our 7 of Wands reversed here feels like you've got a blockage. You're not able to move forward where you're in a position to be able to accept another person into your life, because you have these walls and this damage that's been done by what's happened in previous times. So you need to let down your walls. And you can see, I always explain my cards in case people think I'm just making this up. Look at this. See how he holds that staff? It's resilience. It's standing your ground. Okay, it's putting walls up. When it's upside down like this, you need to move to let those walls down in order to be able to achieve a place of harmony. And I'm going to ask about work as well for you. Okay, so we've got a Page of Wands here as well. The Page of Wands talks about a new, it can be new work, it can be new energy, it can be a new direction, but it feels like it's a youthful thing as well. So it's about something new. It feels like if we look at this reading as a little thing of 2 halves here. So we've got the past there, which is our queens and our king. We've got what you must do, which is move away and cut the cords. But you also must let down the barriers, because the future that lies ahead for you is being able to feel comfortable enough with yourself again to accept another person into your life, and also having the confidence to strike out on a new path, new career wise, and it feels like it's something that you haven't done before. It feels like something that's new to you. Okay, I hope that helps, Houdini Harry. That's pretty much, it's just a small mini read, and I know I did pull out a couple of extra cards there, but I hope, even though that was only brief, I hope that helped in some way. I don't think I have any more questions. Oh, I have. Okay, Namira. What was I feeling last evening? Alexander, his energy. We broke up last year, loved each other, but I feel confused. I've a feeling unfinished business. I live my life, but the energy is getting in. The energy is getting dense, maybe, or in the way. I'm not sure what that means. I think it's a typo. Just see if you've added anything else. No. Okay, so let's go for it. What was the feeling last night? Let's have a look. So Namira. Okay, Namira and Alexander. What was that feeling last night? Is there any unfinished business? What should Namira do about Alexander? Let's ask the tarot. Right, okay, so this is the card of dreams and illusion and fantasy, okay? It feels to me like you are looking back with that sort of dreamlike quality about what had happened, and you're being put in a position where your strength is being taken from you, because you are still in this sort of fantasy position about the relationship, and it feels like this is causing you a bit of a karmic knot. So you know, when we haven't released the energy about a breakup or anything, in fact, when we hold on to it in ourselves and keep dreaming about it and going through the different options, like, could this be the way, could I do this, would this have helped, could I've done something different, we get stuck in a sort of circle going round and round and round, and you're not moving forward. And that means that your energy, your strength, your inner strength, this is the card strength, major arcana card, is depleted because of this fantasy that you're stuck in. Now, what we also have here is a page of pentacles reversed, and I pulled out an extra clarifier here, and we've got the Cupid's arrows. Okay, so basically what I'm being told here is that you need to stop living in this past life, okay, because it feels like what we've got moving forward is you're being pushed in a different direction. Okay, Alexander, I'd be interested to know his star sign, whether he was an earth sign or whether he was somebody that you met in a work situation, because that would indicate whether this page would signify him or whether this is somebody else. Okay, it's a bit tricky to tell without a little bit of context. Okay, so we've either got you moving very, very quickly onto, once you've been able to put what's happened in the past behind you, to break free from that sort of karmic tie. We've got you moving quickly towards a different person that's either at work or somebody youthful or somebody who's an earth sign. If this is Alexander, it would signify that he would be sort of moving quickly back into your life. So we need to know, is Alexander the Page of Pentacles or is he not? So if he's the Page of Pentacles, we're talking about somebody who's an earth sign, earth sign, air. It's Virgo, Capricorn or Taurus, or somebody with those very earthy, practical qualities, because sometimes somebody can be very, very earthy, but then they're a Gemini, which is air. But if you look at their astrology chart, you'll find that they've got a lot of planets in earth signs, which gives you that weight in it, means they're more earthy than airy. So if this is Alexander, he'd be coming back to your life. If it's not, it would be somebody different, but you do need to stop fantasizing about the past, stop dreaming about it and trying to work out ways that it could have gone better. You need to look forward. Whoever this person is, whether it's Alexander or it's somebody new, it feels like once you've made that change and cut those cords, things will move very quickly for you, because it feels like you've stagnated, you've stopped the energy because you keep procrastinating and going back, putting your brain back in time to what's happened previously. You know, you can't move forward when you do that. Right. I hope that helps, Namira. I hope it does. I hope it resonates. I saw something, I think, from I've got your question, Namira. Aussie Mel, you said there's 2 more questions in the chat. Linda, is the person I'm talking to real? I thought you meant, am I real? I was like, I am. I thought, gosh, that would be really good AI, wouldn't it? But no, you mean the person that you're actually talking to. Oh, that's good to hear, Namira. So that does look like it is most likely Alexander. That makes sense. Okay. I did see something from Linda, didn't I? I did. Good morning. I think, oh, where is it? I really need a better way of being able to see these messages or comments. Sorry, not messages. I can't find. No, I can't see it. Right, I'll give. Yeah, it is Linda, isn't it? Linda, I'm sure. Did you put right? So right, Linda is the person I'm talking to. Real. Right, I'll do a 3 card for Linda, and then we shall call it a day, I guess, and let you get on with your Friday the 13th happiness and joy. Right, so have we got some insight for Linda? Quick insight for Linda. Is the person she's talking to real? Okay, thanks, KLG. Got you. Hi, Tashelle. How you doing? Right. Is the person that Linda's talking to real? What have the cards got for Linda? And that card. I had one fell out there and I put it back in. Oh, right. We've got jumper. This is always important. Bear with me. Okay. Right. Linda, you're in a prison of your own making, my dear. It feels like you are the lady with the blindfold on who's put themselves in a prison. This would be a card that would mean that you have taken to retreating inside your own home or your house or your metaphorical home, like your mind. You have locked yourself away. And it feels like there's been a general lack of forward motion. We've got the Chariot reversed. It feels like you've been stuck and you're stagnating. And then you've been talking to somebody, and it feels like they have offered you a way forward. Now, I'm being told that you need to watch this very carefully, because what we've got here is the 4 of Pentacles reversed. This is a card that indicates money flowing through your fingers, okay? I'd be very careful about who you're talking to, because what I've also got came out there was the card, the 7 of Cups reversed, okay? This can indicate some self-deception, and I'd be very, very wary around this person, around money, all right? Now, it could well be that because I've also got the card, the World, all right, which is about completion. It's about something completing favorably, okay? But it feels like this is a bit of an option that's a bit further away than sort of, say, immediate time period. I mean, in the next sort of, few weeks or so, it feels like this completion is further away. And by completion, when you're talking to somebody, I mean when you become aware of whether or not they are the person that you need to be trustful of, okay? So I feel that you need to be the Four of Pentacles reversed. I want you to hold back from this person, okay? Keep things about yourself secret. And just don't give in to sort of dreaming and fantasizing about what they could be, all right? Actions speak louder than words. Watch what they're saying, but also watch what they're doing, okay? Try to do some reading between the lines, because it feels like if you're in this position where you feel like you've been almost a prisoner of your own mind or home for a while, you could be feeling quite vulnerable, and you could be in a position where somebody could make things seem like, you know, they're going to offer so much, but perhaps they're not. Now, I'm not saying that's definitely the case. It's just these two cards would say, be very careful about financial situations, and particularly keep your money close to you. If you have a look on the image of this card, this guy is sitting with his pentacles and he's like that. He keeps them close, okay? He keeps his money close to him. And this card is about dreams and illusions. And if you see this guy's spoilt for choice and he's going, oh, shall we have some of this? We have some of that. Not quite sure which way to go. And with this being upside down as well, it really does talk about being grounded in reality, okay? And the final card, the one that jumped out first, was my Wheel of Destiny reversed, okay? So it feels like this person's not in your destiny, okay? However, I don't want to cast anything negative, okay? All I'm saying is that you need to watch. You need to be careful, but that's sensible advice, isn't it? It is. You must be careful when you're talking to somebody. It feels like they're not currently in your destiny, okay? But then we've also got the World as a completion card. So it feels like there's a few more turns of the wheel that you will need to watch unfold before you find that completion that you're looking for. Whether that is with this person or somebody else isn't clear, okay? But it feels like that wheel does need to revolve a few more times. Okay, so I hope that resonates with you, Linda, and I hope that's of some help. Always remember, the tarot, as far as I'm concerned, now there are so many different explanations. Nothing that the tarot say today is set in stone, all right? There's such a thing, you know, there's destiny, and people talk about destiny, and I think it's a sort of what's most likely to happen situation. It's not like it's set in stone, because I could, for example, have somebody here for a private reading, and they could come to my house and I could tell them that next week they're going to meet Prince Charming, and then they could walk out of my house and jump under a bus. Okay, it's a bit of an extreme example, but they've taken destiny in their own hands and changed it. And we can change destiny. At every single decision that we take, we have that opportunity. We have been given this life on this planet, in my opinion, to learn spiritual lessons, which is why we have free will, so that we can observe the consequences of our poor choices and observe the consequences of our good choices, and we learn and we progress and we see what happens. How do we feel inside when we hurt somebody else? How do we feel when they hurt us? How do we feel about revenge? How does this happen? How does that happen? They're all spiritual lessons, yeah? And I think destiny comes under that pot. So when you see the tarot cards revealing something, it's what's most likely to happen given the current energies. And that's how I see it, okay? It doesn't mean like you can just sit back and this is going to happen anyway, all right? You've still got to do what you're going to do, and you can still change things, which is why, you know, for example, that example I used of my ex's mum being told when she was like a youth that she or one of her family would die in a blue car. It's like, who would tell somebody that? And it's like, and she spent her entire life literally just terrified of blue cars and everything, which was shocking. But I guess in a way she changed her destiny because she never bought a blue car. So maybe it was a good thing, but I can't see it as such. I don't think it's a good thing. But in little ways, you know, we can change our destiny, you know. If we are, for example, if I told somebody using tarot cards that they needed to cut back on the booze, you're overindulging, you know, you're partying too hard, you've got the Angel of Temperance and you've got the Three of Cups there, you know, you need to move on from partying like this, and they took that advice and they stopped it, then perhaps they avoided some health problems later on. So you know, that's how I look at it. That's how you can change what comes out in the cards. It's listening and making changes. So what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way there is, you know, when you ask, is this person the one sort of questions, and the tarot says, well, maybe not. That's because, you know, maybe they are, maybe they're not, but you need to find out for yourself. But you need to exercise caution, and you need to go about things the right way and with yourself, as, you know, keeping a sense of yourself and your boundaries in place as well, I think, because some people that we don't expect to work out as important in our lives work out very important, and others that we think we're going to be with forever, a few years down the line, we can't remember who they are, or we wish we didn't remember who they were. You never know. That's right, Aussie Mel. Nothing is set in stone. Brilliant. Okay, right. I think we're at the end of today's tarot. I think that's the longest one that I've done so far. So we've had super waffling today. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and thank you for sticking with me for so long today. I will be back on Monday at the same time, 10:30 a.m. GMT. Please join me for the live. If you can't make the live, then you can always watch it, watch the recording afterwards. Subscribe to the channel, please. It doesn't take you more than a second, and it means the world to me. Please like the stream and share it with people who might appreciate it too. That would be enormously helpful. I'll see you all soon. Have a wonderful day and stay very, very weird.